folks, my name is Spoonks, and welcome back to another episode of Box Office Chat, where we take a look at the top 5 domestic box office results, see how well each movie did, and where they landed, so let's jump right in. Number 5 is Promising Young Woman, which made $719.3 thousand on its opening weekend domestically, and there are no worldwide totals and no report budget, so basically it just made $719.3 thousand. So, like many movies that I've talked about in this series, it's pretty much in line where I thought it would be last week, though this one is a little disappointing because I honestly wanted this movie to do a little better with how amazing the reviews are and how everyone has said, oh my god, this is a game changer, it's a must see, it's a great movie. It's even getting some Oscar consideration for like the more performances from like Carey Mulligan. And I'm sure these numbers won't deteriorate this movie's chances of getting Oscar buzz, and hopefully word of mouth from the people that did see this movie will get more people aware of it and give it the recognition it deserves. And to add on to the fact that this is another Focus Features movie, which is a company, a part of Universal, so it will most likely be on video on demand very soon. So hopefully when it releases VOD, more people will support it and give it a watch. Number 4 is Monster Hunter, which made $1.1 million this weekend, bringing its domestic total to $4 million and its worldwide total to $9 million. So yeah, after a strong and surprising number 1 opening weekend, the movie was not able to maintain that kind of success in its second weekend. Word of mouth has not been pleasant, and it was a pretty crowded Christmas weekend this weekend, but we'll get to those movies later on in the video. Adding the fact that this is one of the more expensive movies on the chart with a reported budget of $60 million with a worldwide total of $9 million. This is not impressive, but then again, maybe video on demand numbers will help this movie out. I mean, Sony has recently released some of their movies onto VOD, like a couple weeks after they were released in theaters. Like I saw it with Broken Hearts Gallery, they released that a couple weeks on demand after it was in theaters. So hopefully those numbers will give this movie a boost, but as for right now, it's not looking good. But let's move on to a much more positive note with number 3, and that is the Crude A New Age, which made $1.7 million this weekend, bringing its domestic total to $30 million and its worldwide total to $98 million. I was hesitant last week. I thought this movie would slow down and lose its momentum, but clearly it has not. I thought it would take some time for this movie to make $30 million, and it was able to do that by the end of the week, which is incredible, and I'm super proud that this movie was able to do that. But I'm even more impressed by how this movie is only $2 million away from grossing over $100 million worldwide in these times when a good majority of the theaters were closed. Even less theaters were open when Tenet was out, and this movie is almost at 100 million, which is impressive, so, to say the least. So all I gotta say is good on you, Crude, and I hope that you make even more money as this week ends, and or rather I should say as this year ends, as you are just kicking it right now. Number 2 is News of the World, which made $2.2 million this weekend on a reported $38 million budget, and just like Promising Young Woman, there are no worldwide totals. So yeah, despite my thoughts on how I thought Crudes 2 was going to lose steam, I am honestly very surprised with how this movie did. I thought that it would open even less than the Crudes did, but no, it actually opened to number 2, which again, I'm impressed by. Despite how this movie cost $38 million, I think this is a decent opening, especially for these times and how it was a crowded market, and the fact that this movie was able to open at number 2 with $2.2 million is very good in my eyes. And add to the fact that the movie's getting really good reviews and even some Oscar consideration, and I think word of mouth might help this movie out to make its budget back. Not double it, but definitely make its budget back. So again, very impressed with how this movie did and curious to see how it will do in the long run. And finally, let's talk about the number one movie of the weekend, and that is Wonder Woman 1984, which made 16.7 million on its opening weekend domestically, and worldwide is sitting at 85 million. So this movie now officially has the highest opening weekend for any movie post-pandemic. It beat the previous record title, which was The Crude, which had a 9 million opening weekend, and this beat it by 7 million, which is great. And the fact that it was almost about to cross $100 million on its opening weekend in these times is impressive. However, take this with a grain of salt, as Warner Brothers is following what they did with Tenet. They are not releasing official numbers, just estimates. So who knows, maybe these numbers could be wrong and it made less or made more. And to add on to the fact that this movie was a simultaneous release, it was released in both theaters and on HBO Max. So Warner Brothers has not released those streaming numbers as to how many people watched it on HBO Max. All they said though is that there was a boost in subscribers and a boost in views, and it was all related to this movie. So I'm definitely sure that HBO Max helped this movie out in some way or another. But still, even if these are just estimates and we'll never truly know how well this movie did, this is still a pretty good opening in these times, and I definitely think it will be able to make a ton of money in the long run. Now, I don't think it'll be able to break even with the $500 million this movie needs, but I do think it'll be able to make like around $300 million, which for these times is good enough. And those were the top 5 domestic box office results, and this is normally the part where I discuss what movies are hitting theaters this week, but as far as I know, there's really nothing releasing this week or the next following weeks at the moment. I am unaware. January was originally supposed to be this full lineup of movies like Peter Rabbit 2 and Mortal Kombat, the movie, were all supposed to come out in like January this month, but then they all got pushed back. And I don't really know if there's anything major hitting theaters or anything that'll definitely shake up the top 5. But when those movies do hit theaters and shake up the top 5, I'll definitely be here to cover it on the next box office chat. And that's going to do it for this week's episode of Box Office Chat. What did you guys think of the results? Were you satisfied, unsatisfied? Comment down below and let me know. Stay tuned for this week. I've got a couple more reviews and videos heading your way. I will have my review for Wonder Woman 1984 out tomorrow. And then after that, I will be doing my top 10 worst and best movies. And those will be finished either by the end of this week or early next week, so stay tuned for that. If you like this video, hit the like button. If you like this channel, hit that subscribe button. Follow me on all the social media links right there, and until next time, guys, stay sharp.